Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, girls.
Assalamu alaikum, sisters.
Welcome back to the Queen Mentality Podcast. I know, you know what? We just aren't on a steady posting schedule, but we just go with the winds. We go with the vibes. I was supposed to film today, and then last minute got canceled on. I ended up hitting her up because like we're besties. We live like 5 minutes away, and I was like, "Do you want to go see some cats?" And so we went and
We
petted
petted
cats for
cats.
like an hour. It was so beautiful.
Sweet little faces.
Yeah, they were so cute. Maybe I'll insert some clips, or you can just go check it out on my TikTok. I'm probably gonna post a video about them because they were so cute. But yeah, and we just had coffee and we were discussing stuff. We're like maybe we should film. What should we talk about?
We got some topics for the girlies, some things that you need to know, sisters.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the topic that we chose was divorce.
Ooh, scary.
Because like we're grown. Well, I mean, we're actually super young, but like we've both been through divorce. So I really hope that Allah makes this video find someone who it will be beneficial to, someone who's maybe going through divorce or fears divorce or any of that.
Even in general, let's say, for example, like you're not even married, because that's usually how it goes. Like the single Muslims are always clicking on videos like this.
Yeah.
And they've never been married before. Still, even if you, inshallah, may you all go without having to be divorced, it's still beneficial knowledge to, know what other people are going through, because maybe you may find yourself in a situation where maybe one of your peers or a family member has been divorced. The proper way to talk to them, because there is a proper way to talk to divorcees. We're not aliens, we're not freaks, we're not outcasts of societies, or at least not here, we're not.
Oh no, in America it's like it's so we were talking about this. It's so normal to have kids or to be divorced and just get remarried. Like people are on their like third marriage and they have kids or like two different baby daddies and they're doing just fine. Like
each time they get
literally they're on a yacht with like a 3-carat ring on their finger. Like, baby, that's not a problem here. But we are Muslim, and we both noticed that within the Muslim communities, like there's other cultures. I feel like maybe Arab culture and like Desi culture.
Probably would African you say culture as well. Probably. I don't know. I don't really come from those, but
yeah,
I would say a majority of like the Eastern cultures, divorce is weirdly taboo.
Yeah, it's like such a scary thing. It's like, oh, they're divorced, or I don't know. And maybe it's also just like purity culture too, which like obviously in America, like nobody values purity. Like we live in a very sexualized, like really creepy country, if I'm being honest. Like, I'm sorry, but like nobody's praised for modesty.
It's two extremes. It's like we got the worst extreme where, like, for example, people are ashamed to like hide if like you're not a virgin, even if you lost your virginity in a very halal manner, like through marriage. It's like, no, you're not a virgin, you're worthless. And then we have the other extreme where it's like if sleep with as many people as possible.
Yeah, and it's like if you're inexperienced, then you're worthless. Yeah. Like if you can't, So it's a very interesting paradox, especially like being reverts, because we're kind of like thrown into a pool of multiple people's different opinions, especially reverts living in America. So, I mean, yeah, we're just gonna tell you, I guess, as your sisters, like a little bit of advice, what we went through. Hopefully, we'll make you laugh. Hopefully, we'll help you in some way. But yeah, we are both divorcees. Actually, technically, I'm not officially divorced until November 7th, 2025. Stay tuned. I'm throwing a party. Seriously. Only the realest of my friends will be there.
Sorry.
Sorry if you're not invited. It was a blast.
Actually, you know what? Let's open up with that. Let's talk about divorce parties, because that's kind of, I shouldn't say it's kind of a new concept, but it's becoming more popular,
Yeah.
It's becoming more and more popular for women to celebrate their divorces now. Let's dive into it. So I want to get into like two opinions on that. Now, mind you, we're not here to judge anybody. If you like it, I love it. I don't see any harm and celebrating a divorce. And let's talk about it, because weirdly, this is something very, very controversial. Although, bless our people's hearts, it's oftentimes for people who have no reason to be involved, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Naturally, I would think if someone has an issue with celebrating a divorce, maybe it'll be someone who's affected by it, right? Like maybe the kids or something like that. Like, does that make sense? Not strangers on the internet and around town.
Right.
Like, they always have the most to say. But let's get into it. So, what are the pros and cons of celebrating a divorce as ladies? I'm not here to talk about the men because I can't relate, but for women, what are the pros and cons of like celebrating a divorce? Why would a woman want to celebrate her divorce?
I mean, I think a divorce party should be thrown if a woman's like happy about a divorce. Like, I think women coming out of an abusive marriage or a harmful marriage or a harmful situation, I think that's a reason to celebrate. I think that's a beautiful thing. I mean, it's amazing. You're celebrating with your sisters that you just got out of a bad situation that's horrible for you. And I actually had never heard of a divorce party until, I'm not going to say who, but someone, when I first became Muslim, was like had a husband who, subhanallah, like actually cheated on her. And she found like the evidence, like the text and all these things. It was a terrible situation. And she was asking me, she's like, should I have a divorce party? Like, would that be bad? And I was like, girl, do it. Like, absolutely celebrate leaving this terrible man who was like a cheater. Absolutely. Let's celebrate. I will help you throw it. Like, I was all for it. And she didn't end up doing it. But I think like now that I've circled into the season of my life where I am leaving someone who wasn't the best for me, not the best marriage. I'm all for it. And I feel like women need that. Like, I feel like you need support from your sisters, especially through a transition like this. And it's not a sad thing.
Yes, I was going to say that. I think a benefit of it is that it kind of helps normalize divorce. And I'm not saying normalizes divorce like I want to see more happy couples broken apart. But what a lot of people don't realize, especially for women, a majority of the time we're leaving a marriage, it's for a good reason. It's not, for example,
Right.
something silly like, oh, he doesn't make enough money, or oh, I'm attracted to another man. It's typically, like you said, very extreme examples, like there's straight up abuse happening. I'm being cheated on. I'm being disrespected in this marriage and so forth, you know?
Right, exactly.
Exactly. And I think, for example, I could see a benefit of having a party to kind of help, normalize, like, it's not so bad, like we
Yeah,
can celebrate, for example, the end of an unhappy marriage. To me, that's common sense. Like, that shouldn't be
exactly.
something controversial.
Yeah, like, I'm proud to be divorced. Like, what do you mean? Like, I would rather be divorced and happy than like married and sad. Like, no hate to my ex-husband or anything. Just wasn't my person. Not a good situation. I'm not here to expose him. I don't need to do that.
Yeah.
My story is my story. And so whatever I talk about in the future is just my story and my experience. But I wish nothing but the best for him. I hope he has an amazing life. If he wants to celebrate his divorce, go ahead. Why would I ever be mad about that? You know what I mean? It just wasn't a good situation. And it's like, it's better to be divorcing than breaking up a haram relationship, you know? Like, would you rather marry someone and then find out, oh, they're not the best person? Or would you rather be in a haram relationship and break up? Like, it's just like we made it halal, so that's why we have to divorce. Like, I made it halal with the wrong person, essentially. But I mean, it was Allah plans everything. You know, you're with people
At
for
the
a
end of the day,
reason.
I feel like we overthink divorce way too much. If in the most simplistic way, like a marriage is a contract between two people, right? And you have a right to end that contract, And some people's reasons can be better than others, but at the end of the day, it's not my business. It's only between those two people. If the contract didn't work out, it just didn't work out. There's no reason for me to insert
Right.
myself. But if I were to get back on the topic of parties, I would say it's definitely healing. I could
Yeah.
see it definitely being as healing because you're typically, for anyone who doesn't know about divorce parties, typically I find it's mostly women that do it, but
Yeah.
typically we're surrounded by, for example, women, our fellow women, like our sisters, our friends, or people who just in general supported us through that bad marriage, like, oh, and they're happy to have, their sister back, their daughter back, their friend back, and so forth, because a bad marriage can be draining. Oh God.
It is. It drains every aspect about
Yes,
you.
I'm getting stressed out just thinking about it because men often question, like, man, like, actually ignorant people often question, like, man, how come the woman, after she leaves the marriage or leaves the crappy relationship, how come she gets so beautiful afterwards? because that marriage or like that relationship, it was draining the
Because she's
life out of
done
her.
being drained by a
Yes, it was
demon.
draining the life out of her.
Thank
Now
you.
she can finally focus on, herself. That was the woman that she used to be, back in the day. Like, for example, being active, good skincare, all that. Like, that
Mhm.
used to be her back in the day. But that marriage was so exhausting and draining. It literally drained the life out of her.
Yeah, and the stress, the cortisol, like high stress is crazy, especially when you have kids. Like I have two very young kids right now, and it's like dealing with a man on top of that, like a man which like he has great qualities, like he just redid the backyard, like so beautiful, mashallah. Like he has good things about him, but just living with him, I can't do it. I literally can't. I don't want to even be remarried if I'm being honest. Like I have visions for my
Yeah.
future weddings. Like I know what my next wedding, I have like a whole vision for it. I want to do it, but I don't mind being married again and again. Like I don't mind that. I am so detached from the outcome because I know that it's in Allah's plan. And I don't look at myself as anything less if I'm divorced or if I'm
Subhanallah.
married or
Subhanallah.
have two ex-husbands. Like I literally
Yes.
don't care like what does that have effect on me? Like I don't care what you think. I don't care what anyone thinks except for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
congrats.
And I love that for you. I love that for
Judge me.
myself.
I eat it up and transmute it
Yes.
into wealth and beauty.
Yes, I love that for myself. I love that. I know it sounds cheesy when people are like only God can judge me, but it's genuinely true. During those times when you kind of are going through divorce, because unfortunately there are now, mind you, we are Americans. So when I told my family I was getting divorced, yes, they were disappointed, but they were also relieved because they knew my situation, they knew my marriage, they knew my ex-husband, and they didn't like it for me. Like they didn't agree with the marriage from the beginning, because they just didn't feel like he was exactly my match. So when it was time, for the marriage to end, it kind of felt like a relief for my family too, if I'm being
Yeah.
honest. And actually very recently when they had seen me after the divorce, people immediately start commenting that I look more happier now. Like people were commenting like, oh, you seem so much better now. Like lots of my friends and family, like they were genuinely happy for me. So what I'll always kind of find a bit strange is when I listen to other Muslim girls, you've heard it too, when a lot of them are like telling them about their problems, about, oh, I'm a divorcee, I'm a single mom, or even in some cases widows, and they're worried about what their future is going to look like, not because they're worried about financial stability, which is understandable, that's a very valid concern, but they're worried about marriageability. Isn't that so strange? And I find it funny that you and I, our first priorities, especially when we're talking about a friend who's getting divorced, our first priority is like her mental health. Like we want to help,
Right.
like lift you up. Like who cares, about another marriage, another man right now? Sister, let's get your mind right. Let's help you heal first,
Right.
before we start getting into all of that. And just like you said earlier, it has to do with purity culture. I also want to add on top of that, it also has to do, and this isn't something people are kind of ready to acknowledge, misogyny. People kind of addressing that women have a life outside of a man. And there are some people, because they prioritize marriage so much and the wife serving the family, being a good mother and so forth, she kind of has no identity. So it's kind of like when she gets divorced, she kind of like loses that status. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I like that, alhamdulillah, this perspective is like starting to come about more. It's always been here, but now I feel like people are just being more vocal about it now, finally, is that no, you have a right to pursue a life outside of your man,
Right.
and I hate that it has to come to divorce for a person to like, have to go through that journey, because ideally you should have that journey before marriage, and ideally you should be able to maintain your somewhat of independence during your marriage. But that's fine. There's no better time than after, for example, a breakup or a divorce to find yourself, right?
Right.
Because there's no better time, literally. It's
SubhanAllah.
because it's probably going to be especially if it's your first divorce, it's probably going to be the worst heartbreak of your life.
Oh, I've already
Probably.
been through
Yeah,
it.
it's
Like
probably going to
I've
be the
been
worst heartbreak of your life. So what better than that time to start glowing up, start focusing on stuff that you didn't used to focus on yourself before. You've always wanted to focus on your fitness, for example. I'm not saying this is Malika's goal, but
it
maybe
is
for
though.
it is.
Like we back in the
Back, okay, go back,
gym.
sis, go back. Whatever you had to give up in your marriage, right? So maybe was it fitness, maybe was it reaching your career goals? Many women, after they get married, especially when marriages fail, they gave up their careers, or for example, maybe they went to school and got a really nice degree. Oh god, these stories break my heart. But after they got married, they never did anything with their degree. Like, they just finished college, and they just got married, had the babies, and now the marriage is kind of over, and they're like, huh. It's like, they kind of like are grasping at straws to like kind of like figure out what to do. It's like, no, you have a degree, sister, baby. You worked hard for that. Take
Yeah.
full advantage, sis. Glow up. You know what I mean? And I swear to God, and this is my advice to like sisters like that who are worried about like, you know, divorce, like, you know, worried about what their future is going to look like. You will never, ever, ever, ever regret investing in yourself. Have you ever met a person who's like, oh no, I should have spent less time, you know, on my fitness. Oh, I should have spent less time, you know, getting healthy. There's not
Never.
a single person out there like that. Like, oh man, I regret, you know, reaching my goals. Like,
Yeah, no, not at
it's like there's
all.
not a single person like who regrets that. However, there are a lot of people who have the opposite of that. How many people regret not reaching their goals when they had the time? How many people regret putting off fitness for so long? How many people regret whatever it is, right? And a lot of times, and I'm talking to my fellow women here, a lot of times we put off, you know, our goals and so forth because we're sacrificing everything for that marriage, right? We want that marriage to work so bad, so bad. And it's not bringing us the status that you guys were promised, right? You know, you're promised, you know, life as a wife, we'd be treated like a queen, we'd get that princess treatment, we'd be taken care of, we'd be secure. But you find yourself every day is a struggle.
Right. And it's like, baby, I treat myself like a
Yes,
queen.
it's
So what are
time.
you
It's
doing?
time.
Why would I ever deal with someone not
Yes.
treating me as good as I can treat myself? What
They
at that point, what are you here for? You know what I mean?
God,
Ugh.
that is such solid advice. That is such solid advice. It's timeless. It is timeless. It is timeless. No matter how many people try and tell you that your worth is tied to this man, et cetera, prove them wrong. Prove them wrong, because those women are miserable. People who are giving out advice like that are miserable. Do you remember in our first podcast that we talked about? We were just rambling, and I was mentioning how, you know what, rich women like celebrities, singers, all that. You know, people who are very successful, and when they get divorced, how quickly do they move on? How
Oh
quickly do they
yeah.
release another
Cardi
album?
B. Shout out to Cardi.
Exactly. How
Shout out to
quickly do
Cardi.
they release another album? How quickly do they get their paper right? You know what I mean?
Right. What did Cardi B say? She said, I'm outside. Okay.
Exactly.
I was with
I'm
3
not gonna say those
kids,
lyrics,
period.
but
Oh yeah, no.
listen,
Outside in a halal way,
in
of
a halal way, in
course.
a
In a
halal way.
halal way,
But
of
she's
course.
getting her money right. She's getting her paper right. She's going back to making music. She's doing her thing. Cardi B is a good example. Think of any famous woman who's gotten divorced and bounced back like this.
Yeah.
What was that one lady? She had married a prince. This is last year. And her husband had divorced her, and she literally has her own perfume and a bio line right now. Like, she's doing her thing. She's no longer considered a princess anymore. She's literally lost princess status. Yet here she is glowing up, making her own paper, doing her thing. Like, that has not stopped her. That has not stopped her from like living like a queen. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, because
So
no man can take anything. Like, divorce doesn't take anything from you. Like, you're not less of a person if you get divorced. You're not less of a person if you've had sex before.
no.
You're not less of a person if any of these things, or if you've been abused or like been in a toxic relationship. All that does is make you a stronger person and a more resilient person, because those lessons, hardships in life, that is what makes you a conscious being. People who have had a easy life their whole life and never have been through the emotional depths of, you know, pain and trauma, they'll never really see life the way that people who've been through struggle have. And hey, that can fuel your art. Like, for me, I turn that pain into poetry, and my book will be available soon, inshallah. So, you know, and I used to put it into music. I'm still kind of battling with like, do I go back to doing music? Because like, I mean, there was a lot of things that I wasn't allowed to do in my marriage that I felt like stripped me of my identity. Like, I was an influencer, and he told me like I couldn't post my face or post anything, and I lost a lot of brand deals because of that. I lost my TikTok creator stuff that I was making so much money on. So like, he took away like my finances, like my identity, like the things that make me happy, which is like cringy, like social media. But like, I had people on there every day who would, you know, support me, like all my supporters, my fans. Like, my Instagram was full of like my fans when I did music. I deleted my Instagram because he would text me every day, like harassing me about Instagram and who's following me. So it's just like situations like that. Like, I just feel like so much of my identity was like stripped away from me, that I'm like, where do I even start? Like, where does Allah want me to go now? Now that I don't have a person telling me what I can and can't do, like, I really just have to tune in to like where Allah wants to take me.
Oh God, that's so good.
And I'm like, I
That's
don't
good.
know
That's
what to
good advice.
do.
Because I went through very similar. I swear to God, all of our stories are same. Maybe all divorcee women feel this. It's like after the marriage is over, or even if you've been in a long-term relationship. And it's like, what do I do now?
Literally, like, what am I allowed to do?
What do I do now? And at the same time, we're processing heartbreak. Let me tell you what helped me. Here's what helped me. And maybe I'm sharing this, inshallah, maybe it's for, I shouldn't say an unconventional way, but I think more people need to kind of get into it. I got a life coach. I got a life coach. So a life coach isn't exactly like a therapist. So a therapist are going to deal with, the psychology, why you're facing the trauma that you are. I am a firm advocate of therapy, but the thing is therapy, just like going to the doctor has got to be consistent. But I needed a life coach. I'm like, okay, let's do a life coach because I didn't feel like diving into my childhood trauma and all the things that led to that marriage breaking apart. I knew what broke that marriage apart. I didn't need a expert to tell me that. But however, man, my confidence was in the garbage. It was in the garbage so bad, sisters. I had faced rejection, just like one rejection, and it just like brought me to tears when someone had given me a compliment. Do you remember when you had given me a compliment? You're like, oh, you're such a strong person, and all this.
Aww.
That brought me to tears because my confidence was just like broken down that bad. So I'm like, and that day I'm like, you know what? Let me go ahead and get this life coach. And it sounds cheesy and it sounds bougie, but you know what? That was one of the best investments I ever made for myself because man, that girl skyrocketed my confidence. God bless her. And I needed it. And sisters, you are going to need that. Now, whether that be through a life coach, whether that be through a close friend, whether that be through a family member, but you are going to need some people to kind of hype you up, let you know that you are valuable, let you know that, you can pursue your goals and stuff like that. Let you know, even in my case, because I felt like in my marriage, I had lost a lot of power. And her just reminding me like, no, you do have power. Like, no, this isn't, you can be assertive. You can ask for what you want. You don't have to stay in, a situation like this. Just someone telling me that and regularly, telling me that kind of helped like change those negative thoughts I was having in my brain. Because I'm sure you can kind of relate, especially when you're in a toxic situation for so long, is that you constantly have those negative thoughts telling you, oh, you deserve this type of treatment. It takes time to kind of change the psychology of your brain. They'd be like, no, you don't need to depend on that person anymore. And in my opinion, and the words of my life coach, the best way to help fill those voids is by, like you were kind of saying earlier, being that person or loving yourself the way that you want to be loved, because nobody else knows better than you, right? So in some peaceful cases, reaching those goals, that's a form of actual self-care. I know Instagram and TikTok have kind of ruined self-care a little bit to make it seem like it's just skincare.
Take
and, like,
a bubble bath.
But self-care is, prioritizing your goals, not procrastinating anymore. So for example, I'm still kind of battling with my own procrastination, but for example, I worked a really crappy job I didn't like. And every single day I was doing myself a disservice by not looking for another better job that I knew that would suit my needs. So the minute that I was like, you know what, let's go out there, let's get those interviews coming. Like, let's start looking, let's start applying. And I found something that I like, where I fit, where I'm comfortable, and I'm treated right. I'm like, alhamdulillah, that was the best self-care I could have done for myself. For example, for some women, it's exercise, right? We had recently done a video, diet. We have recently done a video about eating disorders and like living healthy lifestyles and so forth. You're doing yourself a disservice, every time, for example, that you're hurting yourself, you're hurting your body by, for example, choosing to eat that unhealthy food, or choosing not to eat properly at all, not getting yourself together, or choosing to ignore, like, for example, that you live a sedentary lifestyle, you need to be more active, yet you're still choosing to like, nah, I'm gonna sit at home and make myself feel like crap. You're doing yourself a disservice. So when you finally get up and you reach that goal of like, okay, now I go to the gym regularly, now I make sure that I'm eating right, etc., that's actual self-care. That's actual loving yourself. And in return, your body will thank you and you'll feel better. That's going to help fill that void of that negativity that you're so familiar with all the time.
Right. Yeah. And the negativity, it takes a transition period of getting away from that. It truly does. Because I feel like the stress of like a bad relationship, that can really like have you depressed, and like depression will have you not wanted to do anything.
Exactly.
Okay. But, if you know yourself, like I know that I'm the type of person who I love like being active. I love going outside. I love doing things. I love certain things. And it's like, if you're doing less of what you love when you're in a marriage, that's when it's probably time to pack it up. Because when you're around somebody so much, their energy affects yours. So if you're with someone who's maybe not super organized or clean, or someone who's like always in a bad mood, that affects you. Okay. And so, like, if you're in a bad marriage, you need to get out, girl. Like, I didn't listen
Yes.
to anyone.
Yes, get out.
I
It's
didn't
very
listen to anyone. And like, the second that I start like detaching from my situation is like when I start becoming back to myself, like the healthy version of me that I like am used to being. And it really, a bad relationship takes you out of
It
yourself,
does.
and
It
it takes
does.
you very far away from the person that you're meant to be and that Allah wants you to be.
Hmm.
And if a relationship is taking you away from Allah, like, this is to the Muslim sisters. If a relationship is taking you farther away from Allah, that's when you just need to end it. Like, you have to trust Allah subhanahu wa
Hmm.
ta'ala, and Allah is never going to have you with someone who's affecting your deen in a negative way.
Exactly. We gotta address the Muslim sisters on this because y'all bad. Y'all really bad. We gotta address it on this. What would we call it? Because the way some members are of our community are not encouraging divorce where it needs to be encouraged is freaking insane.
Yeah,
Y'all are doing shaitan's work. And I
right.
know that may be an unpopular opinion, but it legit needs to be said. I have heard way too many traumatic stories about women in really, really bad marriages that the person advising them would not even want to trade places in. Yeah, it's like telling them that they need to work it out.
Absolutely
And
not.
if they leave, they're doing some type of disservice to Allah. Yeah, I'm talking to you, sisters. We gotta start practicing. Oh, I hate to say it. I don't want to say common sense, but we gotta. What did Cookie say from what did Cookie say from Empire? She said, "I gotta put me first. I gotta put me first." We gotta start. We gotta start. In some cases, in the extreme cases I'm talking about, it is legit common sense because how can you say that you belong to a religion of peace, but at the same time you believe this religion is encouraging you to stay with an abusive man? How does that work? And I need you to sit down and I really need you I need you to think about that for a second. I need you to sit down. I need you to do a little history lesson, okay? If we had to look at what's going on at the time of our prophet and what's going on, right? So we're talking about a time period where if you're a woman back then, you are your man's property. Okay, if your man were to pass away and die, did you know that if he has brothers, his brothers can inherit you? That is the time period you're living in right now. Now imagine this. This man, he comes saying that he's spoken with God and he's saying, no, 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 you don't have to be in that situation, sister. If you are being abused, you can leave. You can leave. Imagine hearing that. And this is your reality right here. Do you think any of those women were like, oh, I'm not sure. It doesn't seem righteous? Heck no. They got up out of there. They're like, oh, thank God. They're like, my prayers have been answered. They converted. They left
Right.
their husbands because they knew, like, oh, thank God, someone is coming here and they're preaching some common sense. We have an injustice taking place and nobody's doing nothing about it. And they find this religion that has us so structured. SubhanAllah, we have given alimony, we have given child support, so structured. SubhanAllah. Allah has made marriage so fair. He's literally made it a contract. He's made it very clear. This is a contract, and you have the right to break it. And there's no sin on you. SubhanAllah. So please, sisters, take full advantage of these rights because you may not realize it, but actually, no, I'm not going to blame the sisters for this. It's actually the brothers, but they make our religion look bad.
And
They make it look bad.
I think the number one thing is there's this hadith, and it's like, oh, the shaitan is in the middle of the ocean on his throne, and the devil, the
yes.
jinn comes to him and says, I broke up a marriage, and on Iblis is like, oh, you're the best of my servants because this, demon broke up a marriage. I've heard like Asmodeus, I guess, is like the demon that deals with that. But it's like, so it's kind of put a misconception where divorce is like this thing that the devil loves, and like, oh, if you get a divorce, like you're the Satan wants you to get a divorce. Yeah, maybe for like healthy, good relationships that don't have problems, breaking up would be something crazy for them because like they have a healthy relationship. I mean, I already feel a type of way about hadiths. Okay,
Yeah.
I already am kind of iffy about all of that because I know how many are fabricated, and I know that some are good, but some can be really harmful.
Some make you scratch your head a little bit, like, huh?
Yeah,
Definitely one that has been heavily misinterpreted. Like, it's freaking insane.
Yeah,
it is insane.
And it's not talking about you and your abusive husband, babe.
It's really not.
Like, the devil's smiling that you're staying in that marriage, sweetheart.
Yeah. And actually, a bigger thing about that hadith, this is why I encourage people to use their critical thinking skills. Where in that hadith did it say that divorce was a sin? Where? Where? So it says very clearly, it says clearly that, at least he's pleased that this marriage is breaking up. But if you're, for example, the one who's the victim in this marriage, right? Your husband was the one abusing. This is when I'm addressing ladies who are being abused. Or, for example, their rights are being taken. Maybe you're being cheated on and stuff like that. Who is really doing the devil's work here? The person cheating, or the person, who's leaving after she got cheated on?
Because
Or
she
the
wants a man, like,
like, who's really pleasing Shaitan here?
no, literally.
Let's think. Use our brain for a second. Who's really pleasing the devil here? If anything, I think the devil will be super duper happy that you are losing your faith, losing your iman by staying in a relationship that you're, literally being drained out of. I think he would probably be the most pleased in that.
Absolutely.
Good
Absolutely.
grief. Forgive me, I don't like being hard on women about that, but I don't know what happens to us. Like, I have met very intelligent, very smart, brilliant, brilliant women, and then as soon as, like, for example, they get married and so forth and they fall in love, I just feel like they just start behaving so, I don't want to say, they just stop making sense, Malika.
Yeah.
And you know it, like, they just stop making sense. It's like,
Yeah.
sister, the excuses that you're making, baby girl.
Well, that's our detriment as women. And like, I mean, I'm coming from the perspective of someone who's like a conscious being. And like, I always knew kind of what was happening to me, except for in the beginning, because I was very, very young when I got married, way too young. I was not ready to get married at all. And I got married and then got pregnant right after. So I was dealing with all of this at the time when I first got married. All of these abuse tactics, I mean, I don't want to say that word, like, let me edit this out. All of these like manipulation tactics, like while I was pregnant and already kind of like mentally going through a lot because it was my first pregnancy, it was just a lot to deal with. And so I think I was kind of naive in the beginning. We did divorce and then got remarried. Even though I already learned my
college
lesson.
try. She tried.
But I feel like it was because like I just went so like off my path at first. Like I didn't truly learn Islam yet until I was divorced. And then I thought, oh, if I go back into like my speech at MEP, like I don't know when this video will come out, but I'm speaking at a conference this weekend, and this is like what my speech is about, like kind of telling reverts like maybe wait a little bit before you get married.
Please, sisters, please. Please.
Because like I wasn't really aware of like religious, like the way that people can kind of manipulate religion, especially as like a new revert who doesn't know anything
and
about
they will
religion.
They will.
Yeah, so
not saying your future husbands will, but Muslims will manipulate a new person learning about their religion. It does happen. There's going to be a lot of good Muslims in your life, but there's also going to be a lot of bad ones too. So
yeah, and it's
be smart.
It's men who aren't really practicing truly. So that's kind of like the hard part, is dealing with someone who isn't practicing like good Islam or being like a good example or a good Muslim husband. And yeah, that can make you feel kind of like hopeless. Like I remember the first time I got divorced, I was pretty torn up, man. Like I was upset, but now I'm kind of at the point where I have no tears left to cry.
Yeah.
Like I'm older, like I'm smarter, like my frontal lobe started to develop, so I'm able to kind of know when to choose myself and know what to put up with and what not to put up with. And subhanallah, I'm so grateful for this experience, bad or good. Like I'm grateful for everything, alhamdulillah, because it taught me and I can serve other women through what I've been through, and that's all I care about, because that's my purpose. Me going through that pain and that trauma will help me be able to talk to other women about it and maybe save them from going through what I went through,
and help you have healthier relationships.
Oh, absolutely, because now I can see every little with a whole flag. Absolutely not. Get away from me.
See, this is what I'm talking about. So like, after you face those failures and so forth, you can only become a better person through failure.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm grateful for it.
A person who's never experienced failure, no, you don't want to get advice from them. No, you want people who failed and they got back up again.
I take it to the chin. I'm good.
To my people who come from, like, for example, like they look down on us because like, oh, our marriages didn't work out, there's something wrong with us and so forth.
They'd be quite the opposite.
Don't knock the knowledge that divorced people have. Don't knock the knowledge, because they know what they tried and what didn't work. They know. Listen to those people. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, okay, I'm not going to get into the details of my marriage and everything that went wrong, but I'm just asking that, ideally, if we can within our lifetime kind of change the perspective that we have, the taboo that we have created around divorced women, that would be great. That would really be great. And I'm
Yeah.
talking specifically about women because no one usually has an issue with a divorced man, which, to be honest, y'all
Yeah.
should.
Oh, I
You
that
should be asking more
absolutely.
questions.
The misogyny is rampant,
Yeah, we
sister.
should be asking more questions because I can't say the statistics for other countries, but I can for this one. In America, a majority of divorces are initiated by women. You know, a majority of them are initiated by women, and the top few reasons are, similar to other countries. I think it's pretty universal. The majority of reasons people get divorced are, infidelity, financial infidelity, and physical infidelity, and then abuse. Those are always the top three. Those are
Mm.
always the top
And I'm
three.
sure it'd be a lot higher in other countries if there wasn't all this stigma around
Mhm.
it and people thinking divorce is like a bad
Yeah,
thing or
same
people
with
looking
blended
down on
families.
them.
I come from a blended family. It's we're fine. Like I get along with my brother, my sister just fine.
Yeah,
Literally just fine. Do you have any idea
alhamdulillah.
the crazy look on this is back when I was single and I'm just like just talking on what's it called, Muzz, and they're just asking me marital questions, right? They're asking me about the family I come from. And I'm just telling them like, "Oh yes, I have a brother, I have an older sister." And I'm like, at some point in the conversation, I had mentioned my brother's mom, and he's like, "What do you mean your brother's mom?" I'm like, "Oh, because we all have different moms." And he thought I was so messed up and so forth.
They're
And
Muslim, they should already know with the multiple
but
wives.
I was over here like, no, I get along with the mother of my brother just fine. Same goes for the mother of my sister. Do we genuinely all get along just fine? Like I would spend weekends at my dad's, hanging out with my brother. Everything was normal. I'll never understand the amount of people. This is another reason why a lot of people have stigma or a bad taste in their mouth about divorce is because they think like children of divorced couples
Mm.
turn out really messed up. But I'm over here like,
It's
no,
quite the
I
opposite,
I get along
actually.
fine with my siblings. I get along fine with my stepmom. Like I do literally just fine.
Literally, from every single friend who is like the child of divorced parents, they're all like, I wish my parents would have gotten divorced sooner. Like, if
Yeah.
they had to grow up with their parents being together, they're like, I wish they would have gotten divorced sooner. I feel like growing up as a kid, like seeing your parents fight or like seeing your mom being abused or like hurt or talked down to, like, that is gonna traumatize a kid way more than like growing up in separate households.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world to grow up in a separate household. Now that's not saying that all divorced couples are mature and they go, especially when it comes to the baby mama, baby daddy drama, they don't go about it mature, but that's gotta be better than them living under the same roof fighting every day. It's got
Yeah,
to.
yeah.
It's got to.
And I'm just here for it. Like, I'm here for, even like blended families. Like, I don't care. Like, if I ever get pregnant again in the future, inshallah, oh, Allahu alam. But like, even him, like, I truly do hope he finds someone else and gets married and like has kids with them and, is with someone who's more compatible for him. And like, I would love for my kids to have more siblings. Like, if
Mhm.
he, has kids with someone else, like, I would love that. Like, I'm very detached at this point and I have so much love for him as a person. I think, I really hope Allah guides him to the best for him. I hope Allah guides all of us to the best for us. And you don't have to end divorce on like horrible terms,
Oh no,
end in peace,
absolutely.
even in
Be
Surah Talaq.
mature. Yes, be mature about it. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, Surah Talaq, it talks about leaving on terms of kindness and of peace. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. Like,
Hmm.
I'm very at peace with the situation and I'm happy, like I'm glad, I'm good. And also, like, going back to divorce parties,
Oh yeah,
we in the beginning of the
parties.
video, um I think that like some people may think, oh, like it's rude to the man or something like that, when it's
Boo-hoo.
like
Oh, boo-hoo.
it's not about bashing the other person. It's about you and it's about your growth. Like, you're
Mhm.
your own person, like you said, like you have your own things separate from this marriage. You're not just reduced to a wife or a mom or whatever the case may be. It's kind of about celebrating your journey as yourself and your own woman and the path that you're going to take separate from this person. So it doesn't have to be a negative thing. Like, I'm not going to have a divorce party saying like, oh, yay, I'm away from this monster. I
Mhm.
mean, like, partially, like, it does feel like that a little bit, but maybe that's just because it's so fresh. I do appreciate the things you do. Like, I really don't want to bash him, and I really, really want to be wary of, even with my speech, even with,
Mhm.
I mean, my poetry book, it does bash him a little bit because that was like my raw emotion and my art as a woman. I'm literally, it's feminine rage. Like, what can I say? But I want to. I don't think bad about him. I don't, and I only wish the best for him. So I don't want to make him seem like he's some horrible person. I think he does have a lot of great capacity. Unfortunately, it just wasn't with me, and that's fine. Like, that's completely okay. Like, it's just not what I want in a marriage, which is okay. Like, but anyway, I say all that to say it doesn't have to be like bashing the man. I think it's just something like
And
for
it
women.
can be modest. For example, it can be something that takes place in the privacy of your own home. Or it can be not at all. I didn't have a divorce party. I thought about it for a bit, but it wasn't necessary for me in my journey of healing. I developed a great support system with my friends. I got my family back. I think that divorce, actually, alhamdulillah, a blessing that came from divorce is my relationship with my family got a lot better.
Wow.
A lot better. I started seeing them a lot more often. They started paying more attention to me, because I think that was an issue back then, because I'm a Muslim now. I dress differently, I do things differently, so I think they're a little bit off put by that. But I think that divorce had tested my family, because during my time of need, they were there for me. They actually I've been to so many cookouts, and I think my divorce, for example, like, oh, where's your husband? The one that lived in such and such place. And I'm like, oh, we're not together anymore. They're like, oh, okay. So how do they move on so quickly? Like, they don't even like bother to embarrass me or shame me about it, which ideally that's just how it should be. That's how I want it to be for every woman, for every man. I don't think it's fair that, people are defined by, a failing marriage, because it's stupid. It really is stupid.
Yeah, it's such a small blip of your life. Like, I mean, our whole life is just a blip.
There. Bow. Got it.
Period. Oh wait, it can charge while I do it.
Is your phone charged? Does your phone need charge too?
It's this one.
Okay, this one.
Wait, will it work? Will it turn on while it's charging?
Let's see.
If so, then period.
Sorry, I saw the little battery thing on yours. So does your phone need charging, or is this?
I don't know. Slay.
All the single ladies, put your hands up.
I used to do that on the playground when I was little. I used to dance the Beyonce dance.
Single ladies.
That's a good divorce party playlist.
It's a good song. It's a good song.
Yeah, honestly, I think it'll just like be cute. Like the divorce party I want. Honestly, I looked it up online. I don't think it is very popular. Like, I could barely find any information about it. Like,
if it is, it's private.
Yeah, and that's what I want to do. Like, I mean, I'm just talking about it because this is my podcast. I only have about 100 subscribers. Like, no one's even really gonna see this anyway. Like, this is low key. This is for the girls who know. You know what I mean? It's for the girls who find it.
The girls that get it. The girls that get it.
The haters.
Yes, Allah protect us from the haters.
So yeah, but I think it's just gonna be cute. Just gonna be at the crib, like just the girls. I want to have like little activities. I want to make a cake that we can stab.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun. Like the Taylor Swift cake. How
is that a heart-shaped cake?
The heart-shaped one. And she stabbed it in the video, remember?
Oh no, I don't remember that, but that's what I thought of doing.
What video was it? You have to watch it again. What is it? I think it's Blank Space. And she has this famous it's a lovely cake they made for her. There's no way I'm gonna be able to make a cake this nice, but shaped like a heart. And when she cuts into it, it's jam pours out.
That's what I wanted to do. I've never even seen that music video.
Oh, okay.
But period, Taylor Swift. I'm glad we're on the same vibe.
It started a big trend. Lots of people were trying to recreate to see if they can get jam to pour out their cake.
Oh my gosh, no, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to do like a chocolate cherry cake or like chocolate raspberry or something like that. Like
I mean,
that's kind of morbid.
I'm down for cake. I
told my girl in ATL, I'm like, girl, you gotta fly up.
I'm down.
She's seen me in all the trenches. She saw me through my first marriage with him. Like, that was the real trenches.
These are the women you invite to your party. Don't invite people who are not going to support you.
Oh no, I'm not inviting anyone judgmental. Like, I mean, I don't even really keep judgmental people around me, but
don't even think about it. Don't invite the in-laws, because don't invite nobody, because some of these women be petty. They be petty.
Yeah, I don't want anyone who's gonna go out and talk amongst the lambs about everything. Yes. I want it to be a very vulnerable, beautiful sister moment with just like my trusted, closest friends.
Divorce parties, they should be mature. They shouldn't be petty whole time talking crap about your ex. Nobody likes that person anyway.
Yeah,
nobody does.
And I don't even like talking about him to people. And any of my friends will tell you that. Like, if we're sitting down having coffee. Mm-hmm. And they ask me a question about it, I'll be like, I'll say some stuff and then I can feel my energy literally like draining and like getting upset. I'm like, I don't even like
Yeah.
talking about it.
Let's get
Like,
into that. Let's get into how to speak to divorced ladies, because that's what I'm ready to get into. Because we got to hold our fellow friends and community accountable. Because there is a right way to speak. There is a right way to speak to us. You know, remember how I was saying earlier that you have to remember that you're your own person first. I need the community to acknowledge that too as well. I
mm,
really, really do. Like this lady, she has a whole life outside of her ex-husband, and I need y'all to start acting like it. You know.
yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yes, I'm ready to talk about it because I lived in a Muslim country for some time to be with my ex-husband. This is back when we were trying to get him over to America, and I couldn't bear the thought of being 2 years apart with my hubby. I couldn't. So I said, you know what, how about I go live in your country for a little bit? It'll give me an opportunity to learn Arabic. I'll learn about your culture. It'll be fun, you know? Fast forward to here now, I know Arabic quite well. I adore that country. Inshallah, I cannot wait to return. However, very seldomly when people ask me about that country, my experience there, do I mention him? You know, only on very,
Yeah.
very seldomly, because surprise, surprise, I had a whole life outside of him. Like I didn't not only move to that country, obviously my first priority at the time was to be with my now ex-husband, but I learned so much. Like I learned about a whole new culture, I learned a whole new language, I met new friends, I literally have friends in that country and so forth. That's my identity now. No longer is it, you know, oh, him this, him that. Divorced sisters, this is part of that deconditioning. You know, this is a process that you're going to go through too as well, is where you're going to slowly start decentering him from even your memories. So I know it may seem now like, man, like maybe if you've been married a decade or so, like, man, your whole life has been like, you know, making sure his food was prepared, making sure like, oh, it's his this, or we have to do this, we have to see his family this. Part of, you know, going through divorce is actually reclaiming your identity. And in some cases, alhamdulillah, even though I had moved to that country for a little bit of my time to be with him, I realized I have so many good memories and I was able to accomplish so many things,
Yeah. I
you
literally
know,
can recall
without,
things you've talked about there.
yeah, I've met so many great people. Alhamdulillah, it was such a great, great experience. I don't regret it, you know, and I've completely removed him, you know, from that experience. You know, I acknowledge, yes, technically at that time I was married, but alhamdulillah, look at me here now. Like, I don't regret it at all. That's a whole entire experience and so forth that I'm like, you know what, I did that as a person. I did that for me, and this is what I gained out of it.
Right.
You know, forget him for a second. Same thing for you guys as marriages. Like, I'm sure each lady, you guys have something, several things in your marriage that you were able to gain or learn or whatever it is that had nothing to do with him, whether it be learning how to be a leader for the first time. And I do mean it, women can be and are leaders of the home, and that is a life skill.
Hmm.
Holding it down, emotional maturity. Malika was mentioning earlier, like, you know, now she's a tough cookie now. She is not no soft, weak little butterfly no more, you know. Well, what's stronger than a butterfly but still beautiful?
A bee.
A bee? You're a bee?
What did Muhammad say? What did Muhammad Ali say? Float
Float
like a
like butterfly,
butterfly,
sting
sting
like a
like a
bee. That is a
bee.
strength. That is a strength. That is a woman who knows her worth. That is a woman who knows her worth. Not mind you, butterflies is cute, being a little cute little delicate butterfly, but there's got to be times where you got to stick up for yourself. And a
Yeah.
bad marriage will teach you that.
Yeah.
It'll teach you what you want and what you don't want.
Oh my God, yeah, it'll teach you how to fight. And that's what I don't like is like I feel like when you finally start to like find yourself and stop
It's
putting
like,
up with like treatment that maybe you wouldn't accept, you literally have to like defend yourself. And I'm just so done defending myself, girl. Like, and to everybody, I think that's why like I'm so carefree. Like I literally don't care what
gosh, that's such a
you
power
or
move.
you think about me. I don't. And I've always been like that since I was
Yes.
little. I think I did like become a little powerless like when it came to like my last marriage. Like in this marriage, no. I don't think so. Because like I'm very I know how to detach. I know how to look to the future. I know
That's a
how to
strength. I'm so serious. That is a strength.
yeah. Well, I mean, I
Uh,
had to become resilient.
it's
You
it's
have to be
it's a shame,
resilient. That's
but
a
that
lot.
really is a strength. I had to go through the same thing. I used to be such a crybaby. I seldomly cry. You gotta hurt me really bad to cry, and even still, then I'm gonna be able to hold it together until I can get to someplace private. Now, I'm not
Right.
saying like there's no shame or like, you know, and like crying in public and so forth. Something hurts, it hurts. But no, that was a strength I learned like from my previous marriage. I'm like, like I'm not letting. I'm very careful with who I'm vulnerable with now. Why? Because I learned that vulnerability around the wrong person can be weaponized against you. It can be
Absolutely.
weaponized against you. Ooh,
Everybody.
same goes vice versa. Because I feel like, okay, my therapist called that trauma, but I'm like, whatever. That's what she
Trauma.
called it. She called it a trauma response.
I think people who
She,
like hide their stuff in too much, but it's like
yeah, she called that
that
a trauma
is
response. And you know what? Not all traumas, like a trauma responses are bad because it's your body trying to protect you, you know?
absolutely. Yeah, I think some people like definitely have like a negative view of like emotions and they can weaponize that against you and
Mm-hmm.
weaponize your emotions against you.
Mm-hmm.
But I will never do that to any
Mm-hmm.
woman. I think like tears are beautiful. They're from Allah, they're
Mm-hmm.
cleansing, and I'm glad I can always be a safe space for you because like I've cried to you, you've cried to me, and
Mm-hmm.
like and those that's what your girls are for.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? That's what your girls are for. A man will never.
Oh no.
Oh my god, they shut off when they hear tears. I mean, sometimes they care, but like no. I mean,
You never
oh
know if their intentions are in the right spot. If they're not like someone like your father or something like that, like your brother, it's like you never know if their intentions are in the right spot.
yeah, I just learned, and I learned so much about men from like being in a
You
marriage. You know
do.
what I mean? Like living with a man teaches you so much, like so much. Subhanallah. And I'm really grateful for that. Like I think I did learn so many good things in this marriage. I think he did teach me a lot of beautiful things too, because
Mm-hmm.
like he did grow up in like Arab culture, so he taught me a lot about like hosting and like things like that that I had no idea about. Like, but he taught me like cultural things that I
Yeah.
think are very beneficial. Like I think in our last was it our last episode we talked about like
What, Khaliji culture again?
we talked about something and you were like, "Oh, I learned from my friends that like we take the shoes off in the house."
Oh
When was
yeah, that's
that?
right. When we're talking about friends. Yes, the stuff, the different cultures from our friends.
Yeah, and it was
Yeah.
like kind of like that where I learned like a lot of beautiful knowledge. I value that. I learned how to be more resilient. I learned what I like and what I don't like.
There
I'm
you
sure you
go.
did too. Like,
Yes, let's get into the last point that I want to get into post divorce. Post divorce. I know we've
mm.
kind of like been like vaguely kind of going over it, but let's put ourselves in the shoes. Okay, the marriage is over now.
So you
You're
mean
on your own.
after
Yeah,
Idda period?
yeah. The marriage is over now. Your idda period is over. I want to educate my non-Muslim counterparts here. So men, after they have a divorce, like they can get remarried very quickly. They can get married the next day if they want to. Women, on the other hand, we have to wait 3 months. Islamically, we have to wait 3 months before we can get remarried again. And a lot of Islamophobes try and use that against us to try and say like, oh, it's not fair. Men can divorce you like this, da 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 da. But only until you've been through it that you see the wisdom behind it.
Mm.
I needed those 3 months. To be honest, I needed more than 3 months to, kind of not only decenter that man from my life, but to heal. I now mind you, Islamically, the proper rule the scholars have given us is just because we just have to make sure we're not pregnant. So just make sure, like, we've had our menstruation. We know for certain that we're not pregnant. Islamically, that's the reason. But I can get so many other benefits in that. Obviously, it's the 21st century. We can just take a pregnancy test. It's easier now, but
Right.
we still have to follow that 3 month rule. Goodness, you learned so much about yourself during that period. Oh my goodness, I slept so good, sister. The first, oh my goodness, like a weight off my shoulder. I called my dad, and I never call my dad the next day after my divorce, and he's like, "How are you feeling?" and so forth. I'm like, "Dad, I slept so good last night."
Oh,
Because
alhamdulillah.
the weight of that marriage was off of me. And then secondly, I can see like, other benefits, because your emotions are all over the place. You have to get used to a person not physically being there, all that. Another one I can kind of get out of this is because men, they nothing more than a man with bad intentions who loves a vulnerable woman. So when he feels like your emotions are all over the place, you're worried, you don't know what to do, etc., they'd be out there, they'd be waiting. And ideally 3 months is more than enough time, for you to kind of get a plan together, get your head right, do the work and stuff. If you need more, it's no problem, but this is just the bare minimum, just
Right.
kind of get an idea before you kind of enter the world where like men are like, especially if we're coming from talking about people who are saying like, oh, you're divorced, you're worthless, and you keep hearing
Mm.
that over and over again. Probably the first man that starts giving you compliments, that man may not even be the right man for you. You're gonna be like, oh, finally someone sees that I'm worth something. It's like, no, no, no,
Right.
no, no,
Subhanallah.
no, no, no,
Oh
no.
my
He may
gosh.
not have the best intentions for you. Hold on now.
Yeah.
So ideally, I think that's the wisdom behind, us just waiting those 3 months. Same goes for after the third time, the third talaq. So ideally, Islamically, the first divorce, the couple they can get remarried, they can reconcile, no problem. The second one, they can get married, they can reconcile. However, the third one, that's the case where, for example, you as a woman, you have to go out and you have to get married. You have to get married to another person. And then if your marriage with that person doesn't work out, if your ex-husband still wants you back, he has to go to your current husband like, I want her back.
That's
Is
tea.
that sounds a little bit crazy, right? It's like, I remember when I learned about that for the first time, I'm like, man, that sounds so cool. Why would Allah have such a thing? Why? So your ex-husband cannot play with you? Because what man would want to go to another man and be like, hey, I want my wife back. Can I marry you, my wife?
Fight
Right?
to the death.
Exactly. He wouldn't. He wouldn't. So he has to learn not to play with you.
I bet he would.
And secondly, another one I got out of it, that's the first interpretation. But when I heard it for the first time, I interpreted it for myself. Now, the one I told you, that's the mainstream consensus, why that is the way it is. But what I kind of get, especially if the woman was a virgin when she got married, like this was her first husband, this was her first man, you need time to experience a better man. You need time, you need time to experience, like, this is what it's like, life outside of that crappy marriage. Like, this is what life is outside, away from that man. And even, for example, maybe the next man you meet, now mind you, this is all hypothetical, maybe that man that the woman is married to right now, maybe he's not the best for her, but now she has a better idea, like, this is not what I want. I miss my ex-husband, it was a mistake. And she can go back to him, or maybe the other way around, and be like, you know what, that ex-husband, he was a mistake, my current husband is so much better.
Right.
That's what I was able to interpret. Now, that's no scholarly opinion, but I'm always looking in ways like, what's the benefit? What's, what the benefit for the woman? That's it right there. Like, because why would I, if I'm happily married with my new man, like, why would I want to go back to my old man? Like, he's gonna have to do a lot of convincing.
Right.
Especially if he's already divorced me twice. He had two chances. He had two chances to get back with me. You waited until I got married to someone else, and now you want me back? It gives the woman the power. It gives you the power to be like, you know what? Now I want to make a decision for myself. Because think about it. When the first two divorces happen, I can see you being the power dynamic, like being like, man, he has a security. He's someone I'm familiar with. You know what I mean? But when you're married to someone else, now you have the power, because now you're already secure. You have the power. You can decide for yourself if you want to go back. SubhanAllah, and I find that so cool. I'm sorry, I have to kind of give a good Islamic lesson, because for the next subject that we're going to talk about is what are we doing post-divorce? So post-iddah period, we know that's the 3-month waiting period that the marriage is over. So what do we do?
Well, that's kind of like the iddah, like you said, is like, habits take 30 days to form. So that's 90 days. You have plenty of time to start detaching yourself. My recommendation is during the iddah, like, read some books.
Learn how to co-parent. That's a good transition for the kids too as well. They get time to, like, get used to the way.
If you have kids, like, kind of let him take the reins a little bit more, and like also have discussions with your partner, like, what is this gonna look like? Like, what do you want to do about this? It doesn't have to be too serious, because y'all will figure it out as you go. Inshallah, may Allah make it easy for everybody who's going through this. May Allah make co-parenting easy for everybody.
Yes.
Amen. But just have these conversations. Try to, leave in peace. Try to just maintain kindness. Try not to argue or fight.
Yeah.
Just the iddah is more just like accepting. So after the iddah is done, what do you think? I want to know your opinion. Like, when should you start talking to other people?
Oh, you can do it immediately after. I'm a firm advocate. Like, you can do it immediately after. If you like, if you feel ready, sister, if you feel ready, especially for my young women out there, if you feel ready, go right ahead. If not, wait a little bit longer. Like, it's fine. I'm always going to come from the perspective of the culture that I'm brought up with. I live in America. I'm an American revert. Here, being a single mom, or being a divorced lady, or just being a single woman in general, there's not a single opportunity that's limited to us. We can still buy homes, we can still work our jobs, we can still drive our cars. Nothing really exactly kind of changes. Actually, oftentimes in America, less women are getting married. They're waiting much, much longer to get married, because they're finding that marriage actually limits them, because they have to give up, not everyone, but many women have to give up so many of, like, for example, their job, their money that they make, or the amount of money that they make, or they have to make so many sacrifices. So this is the perspective that I'm always going to come from. I just want you guys to kind of keep that in mind. for anyone who's living in, for example, a different reality. I would say yes, immediately after, if you're ready to get back out there, go right ahead. I'm going to trust that you did the work during the 3 month period to kind of find yourself, to know what you like, what you don't like. I would not recommend going back to your ex if he was abusive, or if he was cheating on you, or like, anything like that. Even if, like, for example, he was taking money from you, he was a bum, don't go back. Don't do
Yeah.
it. Don't do it. Find a new man. Find a new man. Talk to them the halal way. Get to know men. Weed out the bad ones, sister. Please, you're your own person. You're smart. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you want to get that?
No.
No.
Oh, I didn't realize he was calling me. No, thank you, Ibrahim. Oh, I thought I had his number blocked.
But yes, if you're ready to get back out there, get back out there. If you're not ready yet, if you still feel like you need to get up on your feet, here's the thing. The reason why I want you to get back out there after your 3 month period, because I'm trusting in that 3 month period you were able to get back on your feet. You were able to kind of become independent. I'm not saying that you're all the way healed. Ideally, before you jump into another relationship, you got to be healed from the first. Otherwise,
Amen.
old habits die hard.
Yeah.
So if you have trust issues because your marriage caused you to have trust issues, please work that out before you mess around and ruin a good man.
Right. No,
So
for real.
yeah, I would definitely that, as well as I really, really, really want you, my sister, to ignore the noise. For example, you may meet some people who may not agree with your decision to divorce. You may meet some people who don't agree with, saying like, no, you should go back to your ex-husband, who just want to kind of bring you down. Please, my dear, avoid those people. Please, 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 please. And then lastly, I want you to stop identifying yourself as a divorced lady. I want you to stop identifying yourself as a single mom first. So when you're meeting men for marriage and so forth, please don't go in immediately and just like doing that, because
Right.
if you go in that way, they're going to treat you that way. So if you want to be treated like a divorcee and you like open up like, hi, I'm so and so, I'm a divorcee, blah, 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 like
Just
they're going to treat you
weird,
that way.
bro.
Don't
Just
do it.
weird.
You're
Like,
your own person, my dear. And especially you are my sister in Islam. Your status has been elevated, my dear. Please, you are a queen. Adjust your crown, okay? Introduce yourself as you first. What are your interests? What are your hobbies? What are you looking for, my dear? I want you to start putting yourself first when you're looking for marriage. And the right people will find you. And when the wrong people do find you, push them to the curve. Okay?
amen. Amen.
Don't go back to bad habits, like going back being a doormat. I'm never going to advise you to be a doormat. I'm never going to advise you to settle for less. I'm never going to advise you, let's say, for example, like, these red flags, he seems a little fishy, he seems a little shady. Move on. Find someone else. Do it. Please do. Please do. Nobody is worth waiting around. One thing I adore about single moms and divorcee ladies is that they don't waste time.
We don't, because we already
know.
had someone play in our face.
Yes.
Like, we've already been through it. We're not going to waste our time again. Like, that's the whole point of learning the lesson, is so you don't repeat it. Don't be like me. I remarried my ex-husband, but that's just because I wanted my kids to have the same father. That's my business, okay? And I made beautiful, healthy children, alhamdulillah. Okay, so, but I've been emotionally detached, like, for over a year. You know what I mean? So divorcing for me right now isn't really like, I'm divorced. Like, it's more just like, yeah, this is been needed to happen and it's just finally happening. You know what I mean? So, but that's not the case for everybody. I would say if you're in like a bad situation or a bad marriage, just start detaching emotionally. Just start
getting your paper right. Especially, that's another one.
Yep.
A lot of women want divorces. They want to leave their husbands. Actually, if you can't afford to divorce, leave first at least. Like if you can't afford to divorce, find a way to leave at least. Because I get it. In America, it can be very pricey to divorce and stuff. I get it, sister. At least find a way to like slowly reclaim some independence. Those are grandmas and stuff back then, them crazy aunties, they'd be like, you need to hide money from your husband. There was wisdom in those words. There was wisdom.
Go ahead, get you a jug.
Yes.
Put some fake flowers in it and just stuff all your money in there. Or go get a fake book, something.
Get you
a fake bank
account that you don't know about. Do that now, even if you're in a happy marriage. Shoot.
Listen, I could give y'all so many hacks, but I'm not even gonna speak on it.
Yes.
Like,
you know how to hide money. You know
gotta
how
be
to
crafty.
hide money.
You gotta be crafty.
You know where he don't be looking.
And not even that. It's just like getting money too. Like, just start like it takes a long time to leave a marriage, especially when you
Yes,
have
it can.
kids. It's just, you are literally trapped. Like the men call it getting you trapped when they get you pregnant. So how do you get untrapped? You got to really think about
Yes, think it through.
you got to think about your movements. You got to really just emotionally detach before you do anything in the physical. And that's how you make it easier to leave, because
Yes.
once the physical reality of, oh my God, I finally am going to get out of here. I finally have a place to live, or like, away from him, or he's whatever the case may be. Your physical reality will catch up to what you're thinking and feeling later. So you have to first get in the mentality of, I am going to leave him, regardless of if he knows it or not. Like, you have to make that choice for yourself and for your kids, especially if you're in an unhealthy or like toxic marriage. You have to make that choice in your head, and you have to start emotionally detaching. And it's really hard. I would say, don't have relations with that person if you can.
No, don't do it.
If you can, because that is what girls trip up with all the time. That is what keeps people in abusive relationships, because as women, that is literally how men always say, oh, women control us through that. No, women, we get imprinted on.
Yes.
So that makes us feel like, oh, this is my husband, like I'm safe with him, It brings all sorts of hormones and all this stuff. Just leave the man alone, girl. Leave the man alone.
Yes.
For as long as you can. That will really help you start thinking clearly and get out of that situation. Like, just to be blunt,
a clear
just
idea
to be frank.
that happens when you're horny. Not a single clear idea.
Yeah, so just like let that moment pass, and just leave him alone. Like, just try, and maybe that will deter him too. Like, if he's all frustrated and whatever, and he can't, whatever. Just let him be. Just let him be, sister.
If he's not giving you your rights, don't give him your rights. Let's say it's simple. I don't care what anyone else is saying. The stupid hadiths were like, oh, he curses you all night. Well, he's not giving you your rights, my dear.
Right. And it's like, whose sides are the angels on,
it's like,
bro?
We are a religion of fairness, my love. We are a religion of fairness. You think Allah wants you to reward him every night while he's not rewarding you?
Yeah, and it's like, it's just the emotional thing for me, is like, you get very emotionally connected through sexual relations. And I think if you're trying to emotionally detach from a man, you have to do it physically, emotionally, whatever the case may be, but you can't emotionally detach from a man if you're sleeping with him.
You cannot. It's very similar to what our non-Muslim counterparts do. As Muslims, we really got to kind of address this. We have turned marriage so similar to our non-Muslims, the way they treat relationships, because what you're describing is very similar to friends with benefits. So where like the man, he doesn't want you, he doesn't like you, he's using you, yet you're still like, oh, like, well, if I sleep with him, he'll love me, he'll feel more attracted. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's so sad.
Because you don't want to lose him. So it's like,
yeah, that's so sad.
It mirrors a friends with benefits.
Kind of.
Yeah. Well, kind of. Yeah. I've never been in a friends with benefits, but just from what I've seen and what I've heard, it kind of mirrors it. Like, he doesn't want you anymore. He's probably looking at other women. He doesn't appreciate you. Vampire.
Yeah, no, literally.
He's draining you, my dear.
Vampire.
And you keep going back thinking like, well, maybe if we slept together, he's gotta feel something.
You can't change someone like that. They're damaged, and they want to tell you that the women are damaged. The man is damaged, okay? And you're going to get sick if you're around a sick person.
That's that imprint she's talking about.
So keep it away. Like I said, even just being around someone can negatively affect your energy. Imagine sleeping with someone. Imagine how much that's going to affect your energy. Protect your energy if you were in that situation. Like, who was it? Her name's Catherine Pye. She's very big on the internet. She was with a guy named Austin McBroom. I guess he was like a serial cheater. He was like a terrible husband to her. They have multiple children together. But I recently watched an interview that she did, and she explained that she didn't have, intimate relations with him
for years.
And that is so smart, subhanallah, and that is so beautiful. And that is an example of someone who values herself, and she knew, like, maybe I need to stay in this situation right now for whatever it is, for money, for the kids, for this, for that. But she made that choice for herself to protect her own energy from that person. And that's a very hurtful situation. I can definitely relate and understand. I mean, I was never like physically cheated on, but I can relate to, having someone who's like the father of your children who you're with. I mean, were they married? I don't know. I don't know
Yeah,
if they were
because
married.
they got divorced, so I assume yes. They were
Okay, yeah.
married.
So they were married, and when you're married to like the father of your children, it can be a huge weight on a woman's shoulders, thinking like,
Yeah.
I don't want to break the family up. I don't want,
It's not
I don't want this to
terrible.
be me, but it's
You're giving grace to
alhamdulillah.
somebody who could care less.
Right,
Isn't that
exactly.
terrible? No, I'm a firm advocate. Ideally, I want to see within my lifetime, we gotta change it up, women. We gotta change it up. So as soon
Yeah.
as he f's up like that, you gotta leave.
Yeah,
Leave.
no,
That's the only getting there.
I don't even know how
It's
some women don't, because I feel like that would be, if someone like actually cheated on me, baby, your
you
windows will
gotta
be
leave.
busted. Like
You got to
something will really
leave.
happen. Like
Yes, you gotta leave,
I
sister.
don't know how she
Please.
dealt with that. Like, you know what? So much power to her, because that's
No power. I
crazy.
give her no power because she could have been left. Remember, she's supposed to be starting her own channel, and she waited years to start that channel. I'm like,
No,
girl,
that's true. I mean, she's not the best example, especially for us like sisters of faith, because whatever.
yeah, just leave. You know what? You want a real example of sister of faith. Obviously we know Khadija radiyallahu anha. She got actually. Was she widowed or divorced?
She was,
Was it both?
I don't know, girl.
Okay, well, this is still a woman who knew her worth. She ran her business. She chose her man. Another example, this is one that my Quran teacher told me. She told me about Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He had a daughter. Her name was Sakina. She got divorced 12 or 13 times.
Ooh,
Why? Because
period.
she couldn't find the right man that could, that she was satisfied with.
Mashallah.
Every time she met a man, she just like, no, he's not the one. Moved on to the next. He took her back every single time. Yes, our prophet had daughters that were divorced. She wasn't the only one. He had another daughter that was divorced. And he let her right in just fine. He didn't shame her. He didn't curse her. He didn't make her go back to her ex-husband or nothing. He took her right back in, and they had no problem finding another man.
Period. See,
Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it.
that's just the reality of it. Like, listen,
Love it. This could
men
be
are
your
always
life.
men are always gonna want women. Like,
Oh yes.
why are y'all
They
acting
need
like it's a
us.
bad thing
They
for it
have
to
a
be
loneliness
divorced?
epidemic. Who's heard of the male loneliness epidemic? They need us. They need us. They need us.
Relationships are so beautiful. Like, they're such a big thing in life. I mean, subhanallah. Marriage is
Yes, it
amazing, and
can
like I
be.
love love. I love being in
Mhm.
love. I love being in a
Mhm.
relationship. Like, it's beautiful, but everything comes in seasons,
Everything comes in seasons. And let me tell you
So
something, sisters. Women who were divorced and they go on to get remarried. You guys can look this up. I'm not lying to you, my dears. You guys can look this up. People who have been divorced and they go on to get remarried, their marriages. I know we've all heard the statistics that 50% of marriages end in divorce. All this, we've all heard it. Okay, what if I told you that number goes down to what? I think it's like 10 or 15%. For couples who get remarried. So meaning that person got divorced and they went on to find another person and they get remarried, their chances of divorce plummet because they're
wow.
happier in the next marriage.
And
They're
they know how to
happier.
choose someone, probably, because they
Mhm.
like, I mean, when you're in a relationship with someone who's maybe like toxic or not the best, you get to observe someone who is like that. You get to
Mhm.
see through the facade. You get to see all their habits, all their traits, the way that they act in public versus in secret.
Mhm.
So it's like you literally get the chance to study someone who you don't want to be with, and
Yep.
you become an expert at seeing
There
signs.
you
So that
go.
makes so much sense. Like, because that's what you said earlier.
It
You're
plummets. It plummets. And it should make sense. Anyways, my dear, so have we covered everything about divorce that needs to be covered? Obviously not, but I think this is close enough.
yeah. Maybe we'll do a part 2, inshallah.
Maybe we'll do. Let me know if we should do part 2. If there's any other concerns that you guys have when it comes to getting divorced or questions.
Yeah, maybe we'll let them ask questions. If you guys
Yes.
want to go on my Instagram, Queen Mentality Pod, I'll put up a poll or something so you can leave questions, or maybe I'll try to find out how to do anonymous, because I feel like people really open up if it's like anonymous. So maybe I'll try to do that or something. I don't know. Maybe not. Like, whatever. We'll figure it out. But follow the Instagram, because I'll post like a link or something on there if you want to ask questions to us, and we'll answer them in the part 2, inshallah. But
Inshallah,
thank you,
inshallah.
girls, for being here. Thank you, Sister Nija, for being on the podcast. You have the best advice.
You have the best advice. Girl, this woman built me up from the ground up, I swear.
Girl, bye. You are always a
Oh,
beautiful person. You don't need anyone to tell you that. Like, you are an amazing soul, and we are all so much more than what we've been
and you
through.
are amazing, so my dear.
Thank
You
you.
are. I'm really proud of you and the woman that you become. I'm proud of this podcast. I'm proud of the
Thank
advice
you.
that you've given.
We gonna be all right.
We're gonna be all right. You guys are gonna be all right. You
We're
guys
all
are
gonna
gonna
be
be all
okay.
right.
It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. It's just the end of a world that I had with a girl.
She's the reason it happened, and
She
she overreacts. All because she don't want stuff to change.
I'll
my
cry if you need to.
But I can't stay to watch you.
It's
That's the wrong thing to do. This is what we're gonna be doing at the party. It's gonna be
Karaoke. No, that's literally what I was thinking. Like karaoke, everyone sing your best breakup song. We belong together.
That's a good one. I would have to say it's a classic Beyonce, To the Left.
To the left,
Everything you own in the box to the left. That's a classic. That's a classic.
You know what?
That's for the girls.
Shout out to all the homegirls who will be at the divorce party, inshallah, and you guys will be invited to my second wedding also, inshallah. I already have the location plans out and the dress planned out, so yeah.
That's crazy. She got her whole dress planned out already.
I have the venue, like I have everything for my second wedding because I know. Okay, I'm gonna cut this off. Anyway, bye y'all.